Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to Introverse Uncharted, where today we are going to talk about the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. That's right, the divisional round is here. The season draws closer and closer to a close every passing minute. I can't believe it. I can't believe how fast all of this has gone by, especially since starting to do the predictions and all that kind of stuff. So it's been awesome. It's been a good time, and we have carried it into the playoffs. Let's talk about the wild card round that just took place here in just a second. First off, just want to say this video is obviously coming a little bit late, though. As you can tell, probably, I'm fighting off a head cold again. I can't believe it. I take more vitamins right now, because I'm actively working out, almost every single day. So I'm taking, aminos and all sorts of, different vitamins to try to, boost up my body. And, I think I have had more head colds in January than I have my entire life at this point. This is, the third or fourth time that I've been sick just this month. And it's literally just that sinus crap. So it's a pain in the ass. But here we are. We're going to keep on rolling. We're going to keep fighting it through. And we're going to get there. In case you were wondering why there hasn't been any Uncharted space activity updates, that's why. I've just been sick constantly. I don't get it. It is what it is, though, and we are going to move right along. As always, if you haven't yet, though, please subscribe to the channel and then go find us on all of the awesome social medias that we are a part of over on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, Threads, all of those, Facebook. Go find us on all of those. I'll put it right down here in the corner, all of the handles for all of those. And if you guys could just go and give each of those a like and a follow and a share and a subscribe, that would be exceedingly helpful, especially with the Royal Rumble Live coming up in just over a week. We're getting pumped. We're getting ready. We're going to have a good time with that one, I think. So we would love to have you guys along for the ride on that one. Let's get in to the wild card round, though. So, I had wiped the board clean, essentially. I have a regular season score. You can kind of see that I already have a postseason score, so it's kind of a spoiler here. But I had a perfect wild card prediction round. There were games that I thought were going to be bracket busters, A, for myself, but B, if I was right, for everybody else. And I think that carries true in this specific round of the playoffs. Let's start it off. I said Texans over Browns. The Texans did pull off a win, which is awesome. I love C.J. Stroud. I think that he is an incredible talent, especially in his rookie year. He's doing things that a lot of people haven't seen out of rookies in a really long time. And he absolutely bull rushed the Cleveland Browns, sending Joe Flacco back to the bench and back to mediocrity, probably more than anything. What happens with Joe Flacco now? He leads them into the playoffs. It looks like he's going to get some sort of contract either with them or with somebody else, and finishes this game 45-14. He threw 2 back-to-back pick sixes to help them pad the stats on that one. I don't know what you do with him. I have no idea what you do with Joe Flacco now, but what I do know is that C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins and that Dalton Schultz, that offense is looking absolutely incredible. The Browns had a lot of hype coming in, and their defense is incredible. They got sent packing very early, and I guess we see what happens going forward for A, the Cleveland Browns, but B, for this wicked Texans team going forward. Excuse me, sorry about that. On to Chiefs at Dolphins. Again, the Chiefs absolutely bull rushed the Dolphins. I think that's kind of a bracket breaker, too. I bet there were people who took the underdog on this one. The weather was ridiculous. That's the first thing that I'm going to say about it. Obviously, the Steelers game got pushed all the way to Monday due to snow, which I'm from upstate New York, so I get lake effect snow is awful. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. It was probably bone-chillingly cold. Visibility was probably near to nothing. Having fans out would have been awful, just as bad as having players out. I get that. However, if you don't think that -10 with a -30 wind chill is too bad for fans or for your own players for that sake, delusional. If you're gonna move a game, you should also have, if you're gonna move the Steelers game, you should have moved the the Chiefs game as well. That's nuts. I can't believe that was a thing that took place. Travis Kelce wasn't wearing sleeves, and the second I saw him run onto the field, he was like pink. Like, he was just so cold, his body was like in shock. That's nuts. And on top of that, you get the Patrick Mahomes helmet issue where he gets hit in the helmet, and it's so cold that the top of his helmet breaks. And then he plays like 2 more plays with a broken helmet. Like, they didn't stop it. They were just like, oh, yep, that's Patty. Patty out here making a scene here. Like, nah, get him out. Like, go change that helmet. That's ridiculous. He gets hit in the head again, it's going to splinter into his head. Let's not do that. Bad call. Bad idea. However, teach their own. The Dolphins got rocked. They got exposed. They definitely ended up being the bust of the week, I think, if you're looking at that. Go check that out on TikTok if you haven't yet. I can't remember the profile's name. I should look it. I'm going to look it up, and I'll put it in the description of the video. Because those videos, he does, fantasy busts of the week. They're awesome. They're absolutely incredible. I love them. I look forward to them every week. But that guy is definitely... The Dolphins are the bust of the week. They're absolutely nuts. They're frauds. Everybody had a lot of hype, and you can blame the weather if you want. Like, they came from Miami. I saw McDaniel wearing a T-shirt during practice earlier in the week that says, "I want it to be colder." So the weather can't be the excuse that we're going to use. They just didn't, especially when you have Tyreek Hill there, who has played in the circumstance. Like, he hasn't played probably in negative 30 there, but he knows Kansas City weather. He's prepared. He's ready to go. And, they just fell short. It was just a dud. It was just an absolute dud. They got exposed. The Chiefs pick up a win. I called the Chiefs. I'm pretty sure I said it in the last video. I wanted to call the Dolphins. I didn't do it. I'm glad I didn't do it. The Chiefs had the edge on this one. The weather was on their side too. And now again, I think the weather's just a bad excuse, but when you're in your own environment and things kind of line up, it works. But the Dolphins just weren't prepared, I think, for Kansas City whatsoever. I called the Chiefs over the Dolphins. That'll take me to 2-0. Love it. Live it. Breathe it. Eat it up. And let's move on to Wild Card Sunday. So, I had the Steelers and the Bills are still in, my Wild Card Sunday fucking spot here, but we're not even going to talk about it. We're going to move on to the next one, which was Packers at Cowboys to open up Wild Card Sunday, and all eyes were on this game because there was way, way too much hype. I'm not saying way too much hype in the sense of, people watching this and people, chatting about it. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying that there were way too many people who were like, oh, the Cowboys are going to steamroll the Packers. Oh, it's going to be an easy move on for Mike McCarthy. Oh, it's going to be this. It's going to be they, them boys. They, them boys. They, them boys. They, them boys. Yada, 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 yada. Yup. Don't even care. Okay. That was a kissing sound, just in case anybody was confused. I'm still working on the system, alright? Leave me alone. So. Cowboys. And Cowboys Fan Nation. What happened? Yep. The Packers are moving on. We're going to San Francisco this Saturday in the divisional round. That's right. Not only did the Packers beat the Cowboys, the Packers annihilated the Cowboys. The Packers broke the Cowboys. The Packers made the Cowboys Nation question whether or not Mike McCarthy was going to be there next season. Spoiler alert, he is. They've said he is. Sorry about that, by the way. Maybe if we had beat you a little bit harder, he'd be gone. At one point, the Cowboys were down by 32 points. We put in our backups. They catch up a little bit. We put our starters back in just to pad the stats. The Packers pick up this win 48-32 in Jordan Love's very first playoff game with the youngest squad to ever reach the playoffs. Go Pack, go, baby. That's what it's all about. Team effort. Defense stood up really good. We shut down CeeDee Lamb. We made CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott have to talk about their marital issues live on TV. We love it. We love that result. The Packers are rolling. The Cowboys are going home. And next year when the Cowboys win 12 more games and they lose in the first round of the playoffs, we get to hear about this all over again. I obviously picked the Packers to go 3-0 over the Cowboys. On the Rams-Lions, I think the Lions kept tempting the Rams to just come back and whoop them. I don't know what. Like, anytime the Lions were out in front by anything substantial, they just, like, patiently waited and, like, gave the ball back to the Rams. Like, oh, you want to come back? You want to try to win this game? Come on, try to win this game. The Lions do hold up, and they do win 24-23 for their first playoff win in 30 years. Great on them. Congratulations to them. It was an ugly game, and it makes me worry about the Lions into the next round of the playoffs. But I picked the Lions over the Rams to take me to 4-0. And we open up Monday with Steelers at Bills. Again, the game postponed from Sunday to Monday due to lots of snow, lots of wind, lots of visibility issues, just dangerous conditions altogether. But that makes it all the more delicious for Bills Mafia, who loves having the elements on their side. Hence, they're not putting a dome on their next stadium. I honestly thought the Steelers... This was another one of those ones I questioned going into picking this. I thought the Steelers might upset them. Just, the Steelers have a way of squeaking into the playoffs and then making things happen. They were going to come in 7 seed just like the Packers did, and I was like, oh, maybe there's a shot that they upset these Bills, who didn't look very good there for a minute. And I'm glad that I picked the Bills over the Steelers, because the Bills do hold up 31-17 to advance to the next round of the playoffs. Sending the Steelers packing and having Mike Tomlin walk out of a post-game presser when asked about the last year of his contract. I did see an update that he yesterday had another press conference where he was in a much better mood, and he was way more willing to talk about that contract, a little bit more smiles. When you get beat, you never want to talk about whether or not your job is on the line or whether or not you're going to be coaching anymore. I'm sure Belichick had similar things this season and stuff like that. You never want to be in that boat. So props to him for once again having another winning season. It'd be tough to fire him, right? Like, yeah, he's not winning in the postseason all the time, but he has winning season on top of winning season. He puts them into the playoffs every year he can. Like, that's a guy you want to be around no matter what. Unlike McCarthy. Like, McCarthy has 3 straight 12-win seasons, but then gets bumped, and he didn't have that great of an end run with the Packers, hence the Packers let him go. So you could kind of balance those two and see the similarities, but McCarthy versus Tomlin, I think Tomlin is the much more reliable coach, in my opinion. Again, pick the Bills over the Steelers to go 5-0 in the wild card. And that'll move us to Eagles-Bucks. I said this in the video, and this was my hot take pick. Everybody was going to be back in the Eagles. The Eagles definitely had what you would kind of have thought to be the momentum, right? Like, they're at one point 10-1. Then they go on this massive slide. They still squeak the playoffs, but they end up at the 5th seed instead of the 1 seed bye. Like, what a turn of events. And then to have that turn of events and to go into Tampa with the Bucks. The Bucks aren't bad, but they're kind of that mid. Like, when you're looking at the schedule, you're like, oh, they're kind of mid compared to a lot of these other squads. Like, and then to just get absolutely bamboozled by the Bucks. 32-9 final score, Bucks over Eagles. I called the Bucks, taking me to 6-0. That may be the end of Sirianni's run in Philly. And is this the beginning of a Baker Mayfield Tampa dynasty? That's nuts to say. But I was also saying that early in the year. Let's not all forget about that. Let's remember that at one point I was saying that I like the fit of Baker in Tampa, and that I thought it would just take a little bit of time maybe for them to develop into a squad that's reputable, that's like a winning squad. But I liked the fit, and I thought it was really good. And that turns out to be true at this point in time, with the Bucks advancing into the next round of the playoffs. I also saw that Todd Bowles got asked if he was worried about playing in the cold weather of Detroit next week, to which Todd Bowles said exactly what it is that you're thinking. Detroit's a dome. We don't have to play in the cold. I didn't make any more preparations for how we have to play in the cold, because we don't have to play in the cold. We're playing at Ford Field, which is a dome. It's why I can't be a coach. Like, there's a number of reasons why I can't be a coach. But, like, If I'm asked that question, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to need you to Google it. Okay, just type in Detroit Football Stadium. And then when you tell me that it's a dome, it's not going to be half as embarrassing as when I have to do it. It's a dome. It's going to be fine. Everybody's going to be good. It's going to be no snow. It's going to be amazing. Good time. That is Wild Card Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I end it, obviously, as the board says, 6-0. I did not have that confidence coming into the week. There were a lot of, up in the air kind of things. Let me tell you, this week, I feel even less confident in my picks. And it's not like this is the thing, right? All these teams are obviously good teams. So you're going to come down to the wire, and there's people who are going to think these teams have gimmies. To me, it's like the Cowboys and the Packers last week. There's going to be people out there who think that all of these games have a gimme, have an absolute, that's a layup, that team is going to win. I don't always think that way. And when I do think that way, sometimes I find myself on the wrong side of the ball. I like to play it on the edge just a little bit more and see what happens. There are some safe picks that I have in this next round, but there are also a couple that are not safe picks. And let's get started with Divisional Round Saturday. The morning game is going to be the Texans at the Ravens, with the Ravens favored by 9.5. Give me the Texans. I'm going to hot pick it right out the gate. Hot taking it, hot picking it. Let me tell you why. I don't like the bye week. Okay? As a Packers fan, I have seen this happen numerous times. And it's not just the Packers, but obviously I zone in more on the Packers. I watch the Packers avidly. The bye week doesn't always help you. Sometimes it takes you out of the rhythm. Just because you're studying film, or just because the Ravens had the time to sit there and watch the Texans game doesn't mean that you know all the secrets. Okay, there's a chance that there were people on that team that got lazy. That, didn't put in the same work, or that took a day off and all this stuff, right? That's that rest week. They want you to rest, but you also should be preparing and stuff for this game. So I have seen it both ways, where the bye week works out exquisitely, where they can game plan aggressively and have great turnarounds. I've also seen it not work. I think the Texans needed to not have a bye week, obviously, A, because of their record, but B, they keep that momentum churning, and there's nothing more confidence building than rocking the wild card game 42-14. Okay, I like that. I like the momentum. I like C.J. Stroud, and I like Dalton Schultz. I like Singletary, Nico Collins. I like all these guys. I think they have a squad that can win this game. The question is, do they? The easy pick is the Ravens, and I'm not going to go with the easy pick. I'm going to sacrifice and risk the record to go with the Houston Texans over the Baltimore Ravens. On to the Saturday night divisional game, which is the Packers at the 49ers. And if you think for one single solitary second that this is going to be the time that I pick the 49ers over the Packers, you are wrong. There is no way that I'm going to pick the 49ers over the Packers. I said this to, I have a group chat with a bunch of Packers fans. I said this to a couple friends who are Packers fans. I said this on Facebook and all over the place going into Dallas. I think some of these teams are looking past us. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. I think when you looked at that schedule going in, you're like, oh, the Packers, who had to win 3 straight just to make the playoffs, going up against this powerhouse Cowboys team, done. That game's over. Cowboys are going to win it. Everybody did that, including the Cowboys. And then you're sitting there with your thumb up your butt at halftime, down 27-7 or 27-3 or some crap. It was 27-7. I think Ferguson scored with seconds on the board. Excuse me. And then you were like, oh, whoa, this didn't go the way that we thought it would. Let me also clear this up. I know I know what this looks like, okay? Because the Packers deal with this every year. As a Packers fan, the 49ers are the thing that I dread the most because they always seem to have our number. But I'm going to go over their list of weapons because I can. They obviously have Purdy. They have Debo. They have Ayuk. They got CMC, who looks like he's cleared and ready to go. They got Kittle. And then you look at their defense, and you go, whoa. They got Bosa, and they got Young, and that's just up on the line. You forget about, Fred Warner and all these guys that have a stellar defense. Yep. Yeah, so going into the Cowboys game, I said something like, the Cowboys' rush defense isn't very good. And it wasn't. We ate them up. Okay? Aaron Jones had a day. Their passing defense ended up being a lot worse. I'm more worried about this defense. I think this defense is going to look a lot better. They're obviously rested. They're ready to go. What did the Packers do that actually changed the pace of this game? They locked up the mass target. Okay? So CD looked like crap in the first half. And by the time he started to fire off, it was too late, and they started forcing it to him. When they started forcing it to him, Darnell Savage got a pick 6. So if we cut off Debo, if we try to not let that jet sweep / deep threat happen, then we deal with Brandon Ayuk. That kind of sucks. But Ayuk is not as good as Debo, no matter what anybody says. He's not. That's that. Kittle. Let's talk about Kittle just for a second. I had Kittle on my fantasy team the entire season. He was dog crap. Awful. To the point where I almost cut him awful. Like, he'd have one game and was like, all right. And then the rest, dog crap. So I'm not worried about Kittle. Kittle might have a better time now. Maybe he was like bluffing us all the way to the playoffs. But I don't know. Debo and CMC are the things that I fear the most. So can we shut down the run game? Can we contain Debo? Because they had the same issue we had early, right? We went on a slide that looked really bad. And people were like, oh, Jordan Love isn't the guy, we're going to draft a quarterback. I said it. Do we draft a quarterback? And then we came back. These guys went on a slide, and everybody was like, oh my God, the Niners are frauds. And now they're here in the bye week. So, this is going to be a tough one. This game is going to absolutely drain the life out of me. I can already feel it. Hence, I'm sick. I think it's just, my energy being sucked into the Packers-49ers game. Go Pack, go. I'm taking the Pack over the Niners. It's a hot take Saturday for me. Taking the 2 underdogs. Taking the first-time starters in the playoffs in C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. Packers over 49ers. Go Pack, go. Moving on to divisional round Sunday, we got Bucks at Lions to open that game or to open that day up. Give me the Lions. I have no reason to think that the momentum will stop here. I guess it could. Baker looks really good, but I like the Lions squad. I like what MCDC is doing, and I really enjoy Amon-Ra and Jared Goff and Gibbs. I think that squad looks really, really good, and I think that they're going to keep that momentum flowing into a championship round. And if everything plays out right, there's a chance we get an NFC North divisional championship round. Because if the Packers win and the Lions win, that's what we would see. It'd be an interesting endeavor. There's a lot of interesting fallouts that can come from this specific week, for sure. But give me the Lions over the Bucks. And then on to Chiefs at Bills. That's right, Patrick Mahomes travels for the very first time for a playoff game. It's never happened before. He always has had home field advantage, but this time he travels. And he travels to the icy area of Buffalo. They're already saying they need more people to shovel out the stadium. It's going to be cold. It's going to be frigid. It's going to be miserable. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win that game at home in Buffalo. I think this is going to be a Josh Allen revenge story. Patrick Mahomes always sends Josh packing in the playoffs. I think that everything is on Josh Allen's side this time, and if he can't do it this time, there's been other things, right? Like every time at Arrowhead, there seems to be some sort of nonsense that takes place, whether it's the weird offsides thing, or whether it's the coin toss, all this crap that always seems to happen. This game is always full of drama. That's why it's the last one of this week. It's for sure. But if Josh can't do it, if Josh can't win this game at home, in his environment, in the weather, in front of Bills Mafia, with Patrick Mahomes in not friendly territory, then I just don't know that he can. I don't know that he can be the guy who takes him there. And I know that my family up in Rochester and Buffalo all want to see him do it. But if he can't do it, what do you do? What do you do? How many opportunities, how many times can Patrick Mahomes knock him out of the playoffs before you're like, wow, maybe we don't got it. Maybe he doesn't got it. I'm going to put the chips on the Bills, and I'm going to say this is it for them. They have to do it. They have to finish the story. They have to do it. They got to knock out Patrick Mahomes and advance to the next round to play either the Texans or the Ravens. They will know by then who they're going to deal with. Give me the Bills. It's a gamble. I picked a lot of gambles this time. I think the Lions, for me, are the only one that it's like not necessarily a gamble. Like, that one makes a little bit of sense, but everything else feels kind of like a gamble. Give me the Bills over the Chiefs. So I picked the Texans, the Packers, the Lions, and the Bills during divisional round. This episode has gone on a little too long. I'm sick and just kind of drearing on. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in to my predictions video today. Remember to like, follow, share, and subscribe to this video, and to follow all Introverse Uncharted on social media, especially with the Royal Rumble Live coming up in just over a week. Keep your eye out for another video about that coming up here just in a little while. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in, and remember to do more than simply exist and come with me into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. I will see you guys next week.